You don't have a Celsius today.
I had a couple before I came here. And then I opened my fridge to grab a bubbly before coming over, and my fridge was empty. So I'm like, oh, well, I know what I'm doing after we record.
So I don't know about you, but every day I enjoy a nice cold Celsius, because not only is it refreshing, but it provides energy and vitamins and essential minerals.
It's also low calorie, low carb. Money, please.
Delicious beverage. I love it.
Yeah.
This one is the orange
Creamsicle?
Orange-sicle.
Orange-sicle.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, it really does taste almost like a Flintstones push pop. Remember those?
I had a dream last night that somehow we were involved with some sort of world touring pop band.
Oh, okay.
Not in it.
Right.
But like
involved.
Roadies.
Okay.
Something. And there was a orange creamsicle fountain soda, much like the Stewart's soda.
Stewart. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, don't know where that came from. That was filed away in my brain, and it just manifested in my dream.
Have a delicious Celsius Orange-sicle sometime this
I had
week?
blue raspberry.
Oh, okay. I've got the cherry lime coming for my next shipment.
Okay.
I just order them 12 packs at a time.
Sure.
Constantly, because I love them so much that I have to order them constantly.
I don't think they watch our show. They're not the fan.
Give it time.
Speaking of fandom.
Yes.
So we did not grow up as major sports fans.
No.
You acquired some fandom at some point, and I faked it pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
But as I am wont to do from time to time, I went to Orioles opening day on Monday of this week.
Yeah.
Opening day at Camden, not their season opener, because their season opener was an away game, I think, in Boston.
It's a lot of information, but you went to opening day.
I went to opening day.
There you go.
It was fun.
Clear, concise.
Beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
But the bit of conversation I wanted to have was the most upgrade repurposing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Which is those automatic hand sanitizers that were everywhere for the pandemic.
Yes.
They had been replaced with automatic sunscreen dispensers.
Oh.
So the same hardware, but with a useful product that will actually stop you from getting something unpleasant.
I thought you were going to say automatic nacho cheese dispensers, which
Ooh.
sunscreen, nacho cheese.
Well, my friend who bought the tickets got us in the shade, so I'm going to have to go nacho cheese for that one. Because our friend Chris is of the ginger persuasion and chose shade.
Yes.
So, yeah. So we put sunscreen on and then went to our shaded seats and I'm like, oh.
I mean, that's actually, seriously, that's legit. That's
it was
very
an
clever.
Absolute great upgrade. Also, the O's won 8-4 or 8-5. Something like that. 8-5.
In the 16 games that they play, like a football match?
Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, it was like any sort of fandom. It actually kept me engaged because they opened up. They played bottom. They played the bottom of the first. Obviously, whatever. They were pitching on the top. Anyway, so they got 4 runs in the first inning.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
That's actually really good.
And then no runs
Ooh.
until the 8th inning, where they got 4 more. So they just had 2 innings and then a lot of stress in between as their competition slowly caught them up.
See, I love baseball as a concept, and as kids, we love playing it.
Yes.
We were forced into playing in junior leagues.
We have so many stories about that. We'll do a Laurel Tales on that.
Yeah,
That's
we should.
A good one.
That is actually
a
a really good one.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
Or Adam. But yeah, and if it's on in the background, yeah, I'll watch it, but I don't seek it out because it's just so long. And I think football trained me for like 3.5 hours.
Well, Homer nailed it when he went to the ballpark while abstaining from alcohol and watched baseball for the first time sober and went, "Oh my God, it's so boring." So I watch one game a year at most. Opening day at the park because it's a thing to do.
Opening day at the park,
man. I have a friend that comes in town for it. It's fun. The weather's usually good in late March. So
I just picture grilled hot dogs, American flags, cut off shorts.
Yep, all those things existed. But I also probably have some problems with people content as well from that day.
Oh, excellent! So, I have surprise, shock. I have a backlog of content.
I think if there's any segment we can do off the cuff, no research, it's problems with people.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Indefinitely.
It is. I'm thinking we might need to start shortening it to like a 5-minute segment and doing it every episode. Yeah. We'll talk about it.
It won't be this episode because we're not. No. Well, we could, but yeah. We could. We maneuver on the fly. Yeah.
We riff. We yes end. And
yes
also,
and.
not only that, but also
yeah.
Want to start?
Yeah, let's roll the credits.
Let's do that thing he said.
used to be with it. Then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah, so, speaking of yes-anding, I was going back through... Did you ever watch Life's Too Short? Warwick Davis, Ricky Gervais...
Oh, yes.
So when Liam Neeson comes in, let's do some improvisational comedy. I don't really have the time. Let's do improvisational comedy now. And then, like, oh no, not you again. I've never been here before. This is a backstory we didn't agree to. Like, just completely destroying the concept of yes and, but it's Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Who is now actually doing comedy. I don't know if you saw the
Naked Gun reboot
for Naked Gun.
I guess he plays the son of... Is it a son of Leslie? I didn't actually watch the trailer.
I refuse.
Yeah.
Because stop mining my childhood for bad IP.
Yeah.
Or for bad reboots of good IP.
Yeah, I saw a really interesting thing that... So Woke pretty much died with Snow White in terms of entertainment.
Mostly.
There's going to still be things that come out.
Ironically, since we just filmed our last episode about C.S. Lewis, the casting rumor of Glenn Close as Aslan...
It's like, it's already... Yeah, it's already over for me. It's a non-starter.
Yeah, I will not... come on.
Yeah, it's... But anyway, So Woke... I think in the general mindset is like inserting political stuff into it.
Yeah.
So we're probably not going to see that going forward after this next year or two, because obviously it takes a couple of years to make a movie.
There's stuff that's been in the hopper for a little while.
But the slop era is what they're calling it. So it's the same lazy storytelling. Just, let's take something that everyone loves, but we'll just swap characters around.
Right.
And it's so interesting and so new and so different. So this is the downside, because you wonder, using Snow White as an example, I saw a video from Critical Drinker, yesterday. I think the end budget with reshoots ended up being about $300 million.
Right. And
First shoot was $184.
Right, and this doesn't count marketing.
Right.
This is just production budget.
I don't know if marketing pushed it over 300 or pushed it to 300.
Because usually marketing, you double the budget, roughly speaking.
But it's going to lose them...
It's going to lose them tens, if not hundreds
of millions. It's going to lose them hundreds of millions of dollars. But then you wonder, how does it cost so much and then look so generic and boring? Like, I haven't seen it. My understanding is that it's just bad, lazy storytelling. Yeah. So it's not my thing anyway. I mean, it's not for me.
I have seen the cartoon Snow White.
Yeah, it's
once
a masterpiece.
Or twice. It's what
I would
put
say
Disney on the map.
I would say the animated feature Snow White.
Yeah.
Because Rachel Zegler said, well, the original cartoon is 100 years old, obviously.
Weird.
So, yeah. But to me, it's disrespectful to say it is a cartoon.
Right. Animated film.
But, but they put so much care into it. I know that they would actually study actress and actor movements and like frame by frame.
Like, and you can actually see people that the characters were drawn based on that are real humans with real proportions, real movements.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. And you consider the era, the 1930s, I think. I mean, it's
pretty crazy.
We're very close to 100 years ago, and it still holds water. Is that a thing that people say?
People still hold water.
They hold water. We were mostly water. We were carbon-based life forms.
The defense is wrong. This does not hold water.
That's what it is. So it still is good.
Yes.
That's a thing people say.
Yeah.
It is good. It is a good... I actually have it. I have a lot of the classic Disney films. I have a daughter. So, of course, I have a lot of the classic Disney films.
For the same reason.
Yeah, and it's just... Gosh, speaking of daughters and films and garbage... Right. The Minecraft movie is out now.
And they want to see it together.
Yes, they really do.
And this might be the first time they go to the theater without a grown-up.
Yeah, because I'm not
going to see it.
Maybe you and I can go see A Working Man again if it's playing at the same time.
Yeah.
I'd do that.
I enjoyed it.
That was a lot of fun.
Jason Statham punched and shot people.
He did.
I think he may have even blown some people up. I think there were grenades.
There was
at least one grenade.
There absolutely could have been. I mean, this is the thing. I think it was, again, Critical Drinker who had said this would have been like a straight to DVD.
Oh, yeah. It was a very by-the-numbers generic action film.
Jason Statham playing the same role he's been playing for the last 20 or 30 years.
Yep.
But it's a perfect formula.
Book's better.
I haven't read the book, but I enjoyed the film. I loved that our biker gang guys, like we had the hats, the helmets.
The return of the chainmail was just...
Yes, a throwback to, what's his name from Commando.
Yeah. He had to blow off some steam. I don't remember his name.
He's supposed to be the big, tough guy going against Arnold. Yeah. And Arnold is shredded and
he's
roided out in that movie. Yeah.
He looks like, you just got off work at the factory and now you're having a pint at the beer bar. Yeah.
However, I have seen... fight videos before where the like boxing matches where the schlubby guy ends up creaming the cut guy.
Because he probably has Homer Simpson syndrome.
Right, or just freakish strength.
Or freakish strength, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been rambling. What's our first segment? I don't have the rundown.
We're babbling on.
Are we babbling on?
I think we're starting to babble on about 5.
Let's babble on about 5.
Let's roll it.
I forget the name of this episode.
Oh, it's Deathwalker.
Is it Deathwalker?
It's named for the character. Yep.
Okay. So I don't know how I could remember that it was called Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker. Deathwalker! Deathwalker!
Deathwalker. Deathwalker.
Deathwalker.
The Deathwalker was Deathwalker.
Deathwalker.
The Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker. It's Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker. Deathwalker. Deathwalker.
There would be no constant bombardment of reminders.
It's really weird how, like, we never knew that character was evil.
Right.
Like, they didn't give her an evil moniker. She didn't drive a Tesla or wear a MAGA hat, so I didn't know that she was supposed to be a villain.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't even think she had shifty eyes. In fact,
she had Disney
really
eyes.
Big eyes. I was like, are those have to be prosthetics, obviously.
Yeah, because they were more than just contacts, because they were too big to...
do we look at the actress? Does she have, like, just larger than average eyes?
I didn't look at the actress.
What are the round bits of your eyes called again?
Iris?
Sure. They were very large.
Yeah.
But I think you would have to already have, like, large eyes to fit those.
I would think.
But it was just a little... Like,
it was not quite Uncanny Valley, but it was, it was pushing it.
Yeah.
It was like, did you ever see Alita Battle Angel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually liked that movie.
Yeah, it was
pretty
fine.
Good.
But yeah, it was similar to that, but done with practical instead of digital.
Yeah.
Well, B5 does have some digital effects. They didn't have that level to where they could track eyes like that.
In fact, when B5 is doing a digital effect with actual human assets, because it's not high def.
Right.
Because they
were shooting on
they're shooting
beta
camera
and then digital beta. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they would transfer it to tape.
Yep.
Do the effects there because it would air on tape.
Yep.
So yeah, that I'd noticed that a lot on last episode.
Yeah.
It was like,
an
an effect shot's about to happen because everything's a little blurry.
Yeah, everything's got a little blurred. Not quite the same resolution as film.
No.
Only so many lines. 500. I think it's 525, but then there's the overscan area. It's been a while. I used to know all this stuff.
So isn't it like 480 when it?
It's 480. Yeah. So you've got 525 is the overscan,
but interlaced.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's actually
this is some hot Babylon 5 talk.
Babbling on about old school video. The videography I learned. Okay. So we start off with Natov, the attaché of Ambassador Jakar.
And, the Narn.
The Narn. And she sees this woman going through customs to enter the station, coming off of a Membari vessel. And then she flips out for no reason.
Yeah, Grandpa Simpson style.
Yeah.
Walker.
That's the dog. And just beats the tar out of her.
Yeah.
Like
picks up a tool, like a metal wrench or something.
Right.
And I was like, I'd be dead.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be dead twice.
Easily.
I mean, they'd resuscitate me and then I'd die a second time.
Again, from the shock of everything. And yes, screaming Deathwalker, which we never hear in this episode.
Nope. Never once.
Never once. And so obviously there's a lot of backstory with this character. It's great because this is an episode of the week episode.
It is.
Very little to build the greater world happens with one or two small.
I would say the end scene.
Talia stuff has, and then the Vorlon stuff has some larger world building. So I have gravity against me. I took some notes.
Good. I did not, because I just watched it last night, and it was just one of those episodes where I'm like, it's such a chore to have to rewatch one of the greatest shows ever made.
It sure is. So one of my favorite moments, so she's been knocked out, she has some sort of drug on her person, they're not really sure what it is, they don't really know who she is, no one really believes this is Deathwalker, because it's been decades and she hasn't aged.
Yes.
So, Natov is arrested, is being held by Sinclair.
Yes.
Jakar comes in and asks for her to be reprimanded into his custody.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He says no, but she can be under house arrest
in
at
your quarters.
quarters.
So
If you will release Natoth into my custody, I'll take full responsibility for her conduct.
Given the circumstances, that's impossible. However, I will agree to house arrest pending outcome of our investigation. Guards, take Ms. Natoth to Ambassador Jakar's quarters. She's not to leave for any reason.
I think it just
On
means...
a nearly perfect show, there are moments of imperfection.
I guess you could make the argument that Babylon 5 security will remain outside so she cannot leave, so it's not Jakar who gets to make the decisions of where she can and can't go.
Sure.
But yeah.
But she is
Under house
immediately
arrest, reprimanded.
in Jakar's custody. Yeah.
Also, and a side note on that, the ambassadors get nice quarters, but nice quarters for a space station.
Yes.
So not big.
No,
I think
it's
our set is probably bigger.
Yeah, it's studio apartment.
I don't want someone in my quarters, man. Like, you got to be around all these people.
Right.
They're aliens, so they probably smell funny.
They have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
They eat things called like spoo.
Right.
Yeah.
What is that? What if to them
It's very fresh.
poop smells like flowers?
Right.
And then they just smell of poop.
Right. It will have to entirely to do with their.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Don't reprimand her to my custody. Just put her in a...
Put her in the weird lizard people wing.
There you go. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Totally fine.
Yeah, I'm just...
you would make an excellent Dilgar. So we find out while they're not in his custody, we find out that the Narn are trying to do business with Deathwalker because they believe they'll get a tactical advantage over the Centauri
Yes.
by purchasing data from her. Then immediately we find out that the human government's doing the exact same scummy thing.
Yep.
Trying to get her brought over to Earth to get her research.
We should mention that she is in a coma at this point
She's,
in
yes,
the
we don't,
medical bay.
and we don't fully know what her research is yet.
Right.
It is pretty quickly discovered what it is, but that is when we discover, after she wakes up, that the Wind Swords, who we met in the pilot of Babylon 5, that's who tried to kill Kosh and then blame it on Sinclair. They're a Membari sect of the warrior caste. And the most militant, and they are the ones that told Sinclair that there's a hole in his mind, which led to much of the discoveries of last episode, where that hole is the Membari kidnapping him, brain scanning him, etc.
Yes, the door to that hole has been opened.
Yes, indeed it has. And that's when we find out that she is allegedly developing an immortality or nigh immortality serum.
Yeah.
It prevents death from old age and from disease.
Yep.
You can still get shot in the face.
Sure.
But, yeah.
You're essentially
You're
immortal.
essentially immortal,
or at least
barring
very
accident or
long-lived.
injury.
Yep.
Which
And
is,
and she knows that it works because she's used it on herself. That is why she
That's
still
why
appears
she
to have not aged.
Yeah, she looks middle-aged or maybe 30-ish instead of the grandmother they said she should be.
Right.
Then we cut away to Kosh mysteriously hiring Talia Winters.
Yes,
So the
she's
Vorlon is the most advanced race on Babylon 5.
And he needs a psychic
And
for
he
hire.
needs, yeah, psychic for hire for negotiations with a weird guy in an even weirder hat.
I love that hat.
That hat. And with like the spike brim, like
Yeah.
or it's like a V cut out on each side.
Yeah.
Of a normally otherwise cowboy brimmed.
I assume
kind
we'll
of hat.
have a photo.
Yeah,
or a still.
we'll do some cutaways.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite a look.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah.
And the guy, I mean, whoever plays him, so likable.
Likeable in like a vaudevillian kind of way.
Yes.
Like he's very animated and very like if you ran into him, you're like, okay, you would be a fun casual acquaintance.
Yeah.
Not a good friend.
No.
Like, I don't want to be seen with you, but I want to be around you.
Yeah, he's the guy that calls at 2 a.m. after you've been asleep for a few hours.
Right.
And like, hey, what are you doing, buddy?
It's like, well, I'm waking up now, apparently. And while they have their first encounter with this dude and kind of wrap it all up,
They're speaking in riddles.
they're speaking in riddles back and forth, Kosh and this character whose name I did not write down and I should have.
Yeah.
And then
And Talia's befuddled.
Talia's befuddled, asks
am I
Kosh
here?
what's going on, and then he says a great Vorlonish line, if you want to understand, listen to the music, not the song.
Yes.
It's like, that's such a Vorlon thing to say.
And,
There's a lot more of that coming.
And yeah, his Vorlon thing too for that meeting was like, we'll meet at this place at the hour of what was it? Oh gosh, it was
Because it made me think Rush Hour.
right, but it was
like
something like scampering
or scuttling or
something weird like that.
Yeah,
and then the next time we'll meet at the hour of longing. It's
right,
like,
yeah, very, very Vorlon.
Yes.
But so she doesn't get anything out of Kosh other than riddles,
Right.
and then she goes back and asks this guy, who, by the way, when she brain scans, blank slate, which
Total blank.
super weird.
And then she starts to
Right. So he says it's best not to reflect on it too much, and that trips something in her brain, where she sees a image of herself in the mirror.
Yeah.
But it does not seem like the Talia we know. It's mysterious.
It's mirror Talia.
Yeah,
She's got a goatee.
Yes, she's got a goatee. So we know she's the evil version because of the goatee. Anyway, things continue on as they do. We cut away again to Jakar trying to persuade Deathwalker to do business with the Narn, not the human. We'll triple. And then she's like, well, tell you what I really want is the head of Natoth.
Yeah.
Within an hour.
Yeah. And he just kind of was like, he's like, I'll give you anything. And then she says that, and he's like, oh. And it just kind of storms out.
Yeah. Storms out, and then she
it's a big ask.
does an evil laugh.
Yeah.
So you know she's the bad guy now. Like, if only we knew from her name. But
what was her name again?
I think it might have been Deathwalker.
Deathwalker?
Yeah. If they had said it in the episode, that would have been helpful.
Rings a bell. And at this point, she has admitted that that's who she is. I don't know if we said that. And she has put on her Nazi doctor uniform.
Right.
Would she be a space Nazi doctor or a Nazi space doctor?
Ooh. I think a space Nazi doctor, because I think a Nazi space doctor does her doctoring in space. But a space Nazi doctor is a Nazi doctor from space.
Yeah. I'm with that.
Okay.
But have we talked about like her speed? She's the last of her.
She's the last of the Dilgar. The Dilgar were super aggressive. They were attacking the humans. They were attacking the League of Non-Aligned Worlds. They were attacking the Narn. And in all of their warfaring, they got pretty well devastated when Earth entered the fray, sort of analogous to World War II. We show up after having breakfast.
Where were you?
And then after all of the losses that were inflicted on them in the war, apparently their sun went nova, wiping out their home planet, and she is, as far as we know, the last living Dilgar.
And what is known about her particularly, and part of their species, was doing lots of crazy experimentation.
Oh, super unethical, war crime, genocidal, like introducing a plague onto a planet, just to watch the entire planet die.
Yeah.
To see how long it took.
Not good.
They are credited, they didn't really list, but they are credited with wiping out whole species, like sentient species.
Yeah.
So there should be other races in Babylon 5 that don't exist because of the Dilgar.
And because of all this, the argument that Earth is making is like, okay, these are all tragedies, but if something can be gained that benefits sentience from that,
let's turn this bad into a good.
Right.
Let's take this serum, and at least it'll give those deaths meaning.
And I think they imply that perhaps she is seeking some kind of
redemption arc for herself or for her race,
which could track for a story.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's a convenient story that you're telling yourself to justify.
Right, and one of the interesting things about this is actually the writer, who I'm going to annoyingly call JMS because it's faster, not because we're intimate. I hate when people try to shorten, like when our friend shortened Nicolas Cage to Nick Cage, and we gave him no end of grief because no one called him Nick.
Your buddy Nick.
Yeah, your buddy Nick. Oh. Really? Yeah.
We were so nice to everyone.
Nice to our friends when we were teenagers. So JMS is a lot easier to say than
John Michael
Straczynski, or Joe Michael Straczynski, or Joe. I guess they call him Joe.
Oh.
I don't know. JMS.
That works for me.
We're professional here.
Yeah.
So he actually was trying to think of what we would do if a Nazi doctor had useful information that would benefit humanity. Like, to what lengths would we go to redeem that?
Yeah.
Now, we actually kind of did that with the space program.
Yeah, Operation Paperclip.
Yeah. So we brought over, like, basically everyone who had been working for the Nazis to build rockets for warfare became the backbone of NASA.
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, let's just not look too deeply into your activity.
Yeah.
So that we can beat the commies to the moon.
And we
did.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And it is a moral quandary because you have all the stuff that was intended for evil.
Yeah. And it's a moral quandary that we've crossed that bridge as a species multiple times. So much of what we understand about medicine came out of
the Holocaust.
The Holocaust.
Yes.
And
it's that question, do we, is it dishonoring their torture?
Right.
Or is it honoring their sacrifice?
And that is weighted question.
It is a tough one.
I don't know the answer to it. I mean,
evil's gross, dude.
Evil is super gross.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
bad.
I don't want to sound like high and mighty.
Right.
But
evil's not the best thing
not,
ever. Yeah.
Not
it's
cool.
not really not great.
It really isn't.
Yeah.
And don't do evil.
Don't do evil, guys.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Don't do evil.
Don't do evil. We're not even on holy crap yet.
We're not.
Yeah.
But you know
just don't
what?
do evil.
Let's just wedge this right now.
So things get more heated in the episode as the other races, through leaks, discover what's going on. Garibaldi is super not on board.
No, not at all.
Garibaldi is sort of the moral voice in this episode.
He is.
That, Jeff is following orders, going to make sure that she gets where Earth Command wants her to go.
Yep.
And Jeff's like, Garibaldi's like, those orders are bogus. Like,
I think he actually said those orders are crap.
He may have said crap. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Those orders stink.
It
was
not
well. It
swear.
was silly because it was a not swear, and it should have been.
It should have been a swear. Yeah. Yes, because he's a military man and
right,
and a cop, and those guys.
They don't swear often.
They never.
But when
really,
they do,
when
it's
they do,
important.
it's judicious.
Yes.
It's like surgical swearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The word gets out. The League of Non-Aligned Worlds wants her tried on Babylon 5 for the crimes she committed. The way the council is set up, the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, they're a smaller political bloc, so they get one vote combined, versus Earth, Minbari, Centauri Prime, Narn, and Vorlon each get one vote. So, you got to get. Wow, is that really 6 total votes? I guess it is. So
you'd think there'd be an odd number.
You'd think it would be an odd number for tiebreakers, but I don't think it is. No. Well, because the Vorlon usually abstain. Because the matters are beneath them. So you get Sinclair, I think, kind of breaking orders and voting for the trial.
Yeah.
I don't think Earth wanted that.
No.
Then, of course, in their posturing to look magnanimous and, we're all above this, the Centauri and the Narn both vote against it because they can't have all the dirty secrets of their governments and their ties with the Dilgar.
And they give very eloquent speeches sound like they're doing it for the good,
right?
Not for selfish.
And then the Minbari actually pull the same stunt, which surprised Sinclair. Yeah. Sinclair was expecting the Minbari to be honorable, but because they had the Windswords had ties to Deathwalker, if only we knew her name, then they didn't want those aired publicly. So it is 3-2 against, with the Vorlon abstaining. So no trial.
No trial.
So she's going to go to Earth.
Go to Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point now, I think we go back to our friend, Ambassador.
Yeah. So Kosh has been continuing these conversations with the Riddle Man. And we get more flashes into Talia's brain.
Yep. See a shadowy figure.
A shadowy figure who looked a lot like the Earth First guy that Ivanova dated. But he was in shadow, so...
And without spoiling anything for future episodes, because it wasn't the same actors, he's supposed to be the guy, the human guy that's among that other...
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
It was too dark to say, but I don't think so. I think the hair was wrong.
Yeah, that's what it was, a different actor.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if it was supposed to be that character and they just hadn't cast it. I don't know if you knew.
I don't know offhand. That would be a bit of trivia I'd have to dig deeper for. If we find it, we'll put it somewhere. Yeah.
Put it right here.
There. On that exact piece of wood paneling.
Yeah. Right there.
Right there.
4 years ago, I was assigned to scan a suspect in a murder case on Mars Colony. He was a serial killer. I'd never been inside a mind like that before. His thoughts were brutal, violent, terrible. It was the most frightening experience I ever had. I still have nightmares about it. Today, I felt those same thoughts again. But this time it was no nightmare, it was deliberately provoked.
We get more flashes in her brain.
Yep.
And sort of discover that this was all a big setup just to scan her brain.
Yep.
To uncover some stuff that is still buried. When that will be discussed in a future episode, because we've only scratched the surface on Talia Winters.
Yeah, I haven't seen any other episodes beyond this one, so I don't know.
Yeah, so more to come on that. As Deathwalker is heading to the jump gate.
Well, no, I guess the end was the final reveal of our Hat Man.
Yes.
Okay, so yes. She's in the ship. It looks like a Minbari ship?
She's in a Minbari ship, one of their non-military.
Well, we should also... so a bunch of the Allied Worlds ships are coming out.
Yeah, and they were sort of barricading and threatening and...
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. They are not happy about what's going on. Ivanova is able to stall them for a little bit, but because the vote didn't go the way anyone really wanted. Sinclair's like, we promise we'll share the information. We will spread this good out to the universe. And in their final conversation with Deathwalker, it turns out, oh, you can't manufacture this drug without killing sentient beings.
Yeah. So for every person that gets to live indefinitely, another person must
will
die.
And
and she was saying, like, the joy she would feel of watching people stumble over each other to do that, to be as evil as they were.
Yes, like that will be her legacy, that you will become her.
Yes, so she had no good intentions whatsoever.
At all. She wanted to watch everyone else who was all high and mighty come down to her level.
Yep.
And she was gleeful about her evil. She is pure evil.
Yep.
So she must drive a Tesla, apparently.
Well, yeah. Well, not an original, like a Cybertruck or newer.
Right.
Because that's...
Yeah. As an aside, my neighbors with their Tesla traded it in for a Volkswagen. So, a vehicle made by Hitler replaced by a vehicle made by Hitler. The car of the people, something like that.
Yeah, the people's car, essentially.
Car of the people, yeah. Volkswagen.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so... Pure evil, Intermembari shuttle, going to the jump gate.
And at this point, I am thinking, how bad would it be for dozens of sentient species to be able to live indefinitely?
Right.
Because my thought was, before getting the reveal that she has all these evil intentions, it's like, well, we're going to end up fighting for resources.
Right.
We're going to... Well, we being this collective of sentient species are going to have to find and invade other planets for resources, enslave, murder, all these things.
Even if it were just a morally neutral drug, the outcome is not good, because eventually you will get to scarcity of resources.
Yes. And I was like, oh man, that's actually a really bad idea.
Yeah. And then we find out the real evil, and it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because it's going to accelerate that to not hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of years from now, but now.
Yeah, go find a planet with millions of people, enslave them, kill them off.
Start looking for young races that aren't spacefaring yet. Yeah,
just kill them off, and the more of your civilization gets to live indefinitely.
So
good stuff.
She goes toward the jump gate.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, jump gate activity before she gets there, and out comes a Vorlon destroyer.
Yes, in all of its beautiful 64-bit glory.
Yep. And it fires a single shot.
Poof.
And all the ambassadors and everyone are gathered together, and Kosh walks in just before this, and they're like, oh, what are you doing here? And then kaboom. Then why? You were not ready for immortality.
Yep. And also, most people were actually really happy with that result.
I think everyone was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, because I think they were all weighing those implications.
Yeah, they were all like, yeah, our governments want this, but this is really bad.
Yeah, like maybe if just we could have it and not share it is probably what they're thinking. It's like, okay, this is much better. No one
having it is much better than someone else having it.
Yes.
And then we end with the reveal.
Yes.
Of our dude is
a vicar, which is a throwback to ancient Earth technology, a VCR.
Because
it records.
He just records. He can record anything. So he pulls out a little data crystal, hands it to...
He takes the hat off,
and
we see
his exposed brain and a data port.
Yeah, some machinery around the rim.
Like mini Lobot.
Yeah.
Not quite Lobot, but similar.
A more elegant Lobot.
But with exposed brain.
Yeah.
Grosser and elegant at the same time.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. Not a good look. And so it all just seems like this whole meeting with Talia and Kosh was just a setup to start scratching away at her secrets.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot to mine in future episodes there.
Yes, there is. And that wraps up for Babbling On About 5.
Yeah, great episode. Go watch it.
Go watch it. Did you ever name your video game segment?
No, I liked my idea, which, what did I say? It was the metaphysical dichotomy of virtual ubiquity.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. Because I don't have a good name, so I was like, let me just use some big words. I'm thinking of in Living Color. In Living Color, the one inmate guy who's like always angry and always talks in really big words. I don't know if there's an internet clip of theirs. We gotta find it.
One, yeah.
Because to preclude on the issue of world domination would only circumvent. Circumcise the revelation that reflects the aphrodisiac symptoms which now perpetrates the Jericho's activation.
Because also
the modern thing is if you've seen Severance, a character does that in Severance as well.
This will mean using your time well, focusing on your own duties, and eradicating from your essence childish folly.
But speaking of In Living Color, an old handyman clip had made the rounds.
It was making the rounds.
And I hadn't seen it, and so I'm like, the 90s they were
wild.
Unhinged, to use modern terms. Yes. And man, we had it so good. It was so funny. And all I'm thinking is like, so many very specific people are going to be very upset about this, and it's hilarious. Yeah. I was like, a certain segment of the population is going to be, that's not funny, I'm offended. And then everyone else is just going to be laughing until they can't breathe.
Yep. Be the second group. They're more fun to be around.
I agree. I'm in the laugh at things group.
Yeah, it's better.
It is.
It's so much better to laugh than be offended.
You don't get quite as tense.
No.
You do a lot less burning.
Yeah.
Of private property.
Right. Like the aforementioned Teslas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Apparently,
painful.
Apparently, Mr. Musk says that he knows who's pulling the strings behind all that. The puppet masters.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm like,
we were promised an Epstein list, and we haven't gotten it yet.
So. We haven't, and he even had back when it was Twitter had tweeted, I think in 2022.
Oh, the one like, now I'm Republican. Everyone's
he's like, I've voted Democrat my entire life, but they've gone too far.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start voting Republican now. Watch them come after me.
Yeah, watch them come after me. It's like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
We've been watching.
Wow. It's like, I guess maybe
he knew the playbook.
He knew the playbook, or was that his personal call to violence? Because if you're on the left, maybe it's they're doing this for attention.
Right.
To boost, because any publicity is good publicity.
Right.
Everyone knows what a Tesla is now if they didn't before.
Right.
It's all everywhere.
If I had new car money, I'd buy one just out of spite.
Is this a Tesla?
It looks like a Tesla. It looks like it's got the stainless steel.
Dude, they should make one that looks like that.
DeLorean Motor Company is bringing out an electric car.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I saw a thing, and it would be really cool if they modeled it after this, but or maybe just make one like this that drives well.
Because make a good car in that shell.
Because it's so beautiful to look at, but my understanding is it's terrible to drive.
It's heavy. It's low performance. It's yeah. I think those gull wing doors went really far to sell an average car.
Yeah, but
I love the look of it, and of course, Back to the Future made it immortal.
It did. I love the lines of
without
the mid-80s
having
cars.
to kill other sentient species. Back to the Future is a better immortality serum than Deathwalkers.
Yeah. Deathwalkers, kind of bad.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not on B5 anymore.
No, let's we're gonna talk about video games. Play the stinger.
Do it. All right, Stinger is played.
Yeah, so we'll figure out what this segment's called.
I wanted, so maybe we could just call it Let's Talk Games, because Drunk 3PO, who's one of the Geeks and Gamers crew, he was on a stream one time and they memed the heck out of him for this one. They're like, so what do you think, Jay? And he's just quiet for a long time, and he's like, let's talk games. And yeah, because he's a living meme, but I don't know if I don't want to step on there, because we're so
we've got such a good following that we don't want to pull away from their following.
Right.
So, with our sweaty charm. So you and I talked in advance about this one.
Yes.
We wanted to talk about the oddball video game consoles of the 90s.
Yeah, we I don't know how we were talking about this, how we came to own so many consoles. I believe
there had to have been a lot of trading.
There were a lot of trading, because I don't think we had them all at once. There was a lot of rotation.
I don't think we did either. And there's a few that we never had, which we should probably start with the ones we didn't own, because we don't have a ton to talk about there.
Right. Never had...
so TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah, TurboGrafx 16 never had it.
Had a ton of iterations as I was looking. Like, there were... Like, you know how like the NES and the SNES had a couple different form factors?
Yeah.
The TurboGrafx 16 had quite a few. Like, more than 12. Like, and it went by a different name in Japan. It was super popular in Japan, not very popular in the US.
Not really, no. The only game I can think of for that one is the Caveman Boy with the big head.
Oh, yeah. I think I had...
called.
Did I have a note for that? I think I did.
I just remember that kind of being on the box for the system, maybe on the commercial. But back in those days... I can spot it better now, but I didn't see a vast difference between what Genesis, Super Nintendo, and then this more expensive, obscure console
I did have a note. I had to find, because I'm looking on a phone, not the laptop.
Bonker?
It's something like Conquer or...
Well, there's Conker's Bad Fur Day, which was an N64 game.
But yeah, I mean, I remember The guy, yeah, he looked like a caveman baby, and he would hit people with a club. The one that I remember, because we would also see ads for it constantly in comic books, was Splatterhouse.
Ah, yes. They made that on Genesis too, didn't they?
It ported eventually,
Okay.
but it started on TurboGrafx.
Never made it to Super Nintendo. I wonder why.
Yeah.
They were Super Nintendo was very censorious.
So another one that we never owned was Neo Geo. Neo Geo was very popular for its arcade cabinets, particularly Samurai Showdown.
Yep.
That was kind of the reason to own the console. Eventually that gets ported over to another one that we're going to talk about in greater depth. But Neo Geo had a really high price point. I think it was $650.
Yeah.
So that's about $1,300 of today's money. And yeah, it was not very popular in America.
No, it wasn't.
And then the only other oddball console that I can think of that we never owned from that era, Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
Which is basically headache and goggles.
Yeah, they did have the display unit at Blockbuster.
Yes, we both got to play Virtual Tennis.
Virtual Tennis, yep.
And no.
No, it really did a number on your eyes.
It really hurt.
But it was, I mean,
it was ahead of its time for, because
yes.
I mean, obviously VR is huge now. Mm-hmm. And this was the closest we had in the 90s, and we'll show some clips.
Yeah, but it has it rests on a table.
Yeah.
Oh, let me not
you
away
stick
from
your
my
stupid face in the face hole,
and then coming out of it
yeah.
are your little controls.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And it was immersive.
Everything is red lines against a black background.
Yes.
So not unlike the Game Boy, where it was
but more hateful.
Yes.
And red is not a pleasant color. There's studies on this. Like
Yeah.
It brings up like bad.
I'm thinking of Kramer coming out with the Kenny Rogers roasters.
Right.
What's going on in Kramer? That light.
So many great memes on that one.
Yeah.
So those are the oddballs we did not own.
Yeah, and then some non-oddballs. Just to say, I don't think we ever did the Sega Saturn.
No, Saturn we never owned. Sega CD we never owned.
No,
which was just an add-on to the Genesis, but still.
And then there's also the 32X, which we may have had. I genuinely don't remember.
I don't know, and I don't think we ever owned a Dreamcast, which I don't know if that was early aughts or...
Yeah, that was right around the time, like late 90s, I want to say.
Because I remember playing... Oh, shoot. I think it was playing that... Was that Panzer Dragoon? Or was
yes.
That, okay.
Yes.
Because that display was at our Toys R Us. We had that back in the day.
Yeah. I miss Toys R Us, dude.
Yeah. Now, the real meat and potatoes of this segment, the oddball consoles we owned.
Yes.
So I don't know if they both came out in '93, so I don't remember which one we had first. You might between the 3DO and the Jaguar.
We had the 3DO first.
Okay.
And no, we had the Jaguar first.
Okay.
And I remember because this is a little aside that we used to have a stereo. We had a microphone.
Yes.
We would hit record.
Yes.
And we would make radio shows to pass the time as kids.
Yes, we would.
And we actually did a segment on our radio show to cassette saying, why would you buy...
I have those cassettes today.
Why would you buy a 3DO when all the graphics look the same? And on Jaguar, everything looks... or Jaguar.
Or Jaguar.
Everything looks... And everything did look very different.
Now, interestingly... So there's a little bit of controversy around Jaguar, because it was released as the first 64-bit system.
Yes.
But...
It was not.
Two 32-bit processors, Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
And they were co-processing.
Well, when you multiply 32 times 2,
by 2,
you make 64.
It makes 64.
The maths.
The maths do check out. This got ridiculed by a lot of games journalists at the time. Also, it apparently made it a nightmare to program for.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. And
the development tools were incomplete, and that you had a lot of buggy games.
And we should note it is still cartridge-based.
Cartridge-based.
Whereas the 3DO is...
disc.
I think it's like CDR or CDI?
Okay.
Is the form? It's not DVD.
Right.
It's still compact
disc.
disc.
But it might have been a larger...
It was a very specific thing, because it could play... Yeah, I think it was CDI videos. So you could convert video onto a CD... And then view it
right, very compressed.
But so it would not look like a DVD. It would actually probably look worse than VHS.
Yeah, but you would have it digitally.
But go ahead.
I was just going to. I wanted to talk before we went too far into the content on the Jaguar. I wanted to talk about the Power Pad controller. If you remember, that is the
Jaguar controller.
Yes.
So it had all the buttons,
a number pad,
and then it would have a little cover that would come with the game.
Yes.
So you would put know, it over.
Yes. What those buttons? They were like hotkeys almost.
So as we're doing extra functions, because I think you only had 3 face buttons.
You had 3 buttons. I don't think you had triggers at that point.
No.
I think that was a PlayStation invention.
Well, no, it would have been Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah. Right.
But yeah, the controller was...
It was massive. It had it was a 9-key keypad in the middle.
Yes.
And then you had your D-pad, and you had your 3 buttons, and there are photos. We will have them up. It was mammoth. I'm
maybe not quite the Duke.
I think it might be bigger than the Duke.
I'm sure that someone has done a side-by-side.
We'll find
the photo.
We'll find it. If not, we're going to go to Play Raven.
Okay.
And get it. Because
get the Duke and the Jaguar.
Yes. I mean, maybe we can do that as part of an upcoming Last Century Today or something.
I mean, Play Raven has the complete in box Jaguar.
How much are they charging for? Do you remember?
It was a lot. It was like $500.
Okay. I mean, that's how much it cost new with inflation. It was $250 then. It went down to $150 after.
Is that enough for Aliens vs Predator? Yes. I mean, is that too much?
Okay, so talking games.
Yes.
So you just mentioned the game that was the whole reason I owned the console.
Yes.
Because Aliens vs Predator was exclusive to Jaguar
at the time. I believe it is.
It may have got ported to PS1 or.
I don't know that it made it to consoles, but it might have become a Steam game. I've never checked.
I've never checked either. It was the closest thing we had to a first-person shooter horror at the time.
On that console. Right, because it was Doom had already come out.
Doom wasn't really scary the way AVP was scary.
It was a different kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because the concept here is you can play as either the humans, as seen in Aliens, the Space Marines,
or the Predator.
The Predator. Yeah. Could you play as the alien? I think you could. And each had a different.
They all had a different
set of strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. Yep.
Human is the most straightforward to play. Yeah. That plays like
you understand it's a first-person shooter. You've got a gun. You've got the motion tracker.
Right. Yeah. Predator, you're much stronger but slower and can hunt.
And you have the infrared. I don't know if you had more than one vision mode.
Yeah, I don't recall. I mean, I'm reaching back in the memory.
It came out in 93. We probably got it 94, 95. Yeah. The price drop. I don't think we would have got it.
Yeah, it was I remember it being expensive.
Yeah.
And then.
So it dropped to 150 in 1995, so that's probably when we got it.
Okay.
Because that would have been $300 back then, and we probably traded in a bunch of games and other stuff to bring the total price down.
And if memory serves, and I didn't enjoy the gameplay, if I'm correct, that you could play as the Xenomorph, and I just remember it being really fast, but being very weak.
Very squishy, yeah. So that was the reason to buy the game. Or the console.
Yes.
But there's a couple other games that are worth noting. Immediately when I was talking about deep dives on games, you're like, oh, was it Club Drive that you went on a deep... And no, it wasn't Club Drive I went on a deep dive. Now, Club Drive was very interesting.
Yeah. Because
it might be the first immersive driving game to have multiple camera views. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know there were multiple camera views at first.
No. And I wouldn't say it was a good game.
No.
I think GamePro back in the day would have given it like a 3 out of 5. Probably. So very middling.
Yeah.
I just remember, though... it being very immersive, and there's so much you could do that we just played it a lot.
Once we figured out the camera, because originally, like, the default camera was stuck to the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're turning, the world's turning, and the car's holding perfectly still, and we were like, what is this crap?
Oh, gosh.
So once we figured out how to change the camera view, it became an actual playable game. Iron Soldier.
Oh, yeah, the mech fighting game.
Mech
yes,
one,
that one was actually awesome.
That one was awesome for its time. One that really deserves a ton of praise that I don't think we appreciated in the time as much as we should have was Rayman.
Rayman started that's there. Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And
it was a gorgeous game.
Oh, I mean, for its time, it was an absolute killer for the 3D side-scrolling hop and bop.
Yeah, it looked very much like a cartoon.
Yes.
So a leap above Super Nintendo.
A huge leap. And it of course, launched the Rayman franchise, and I'm sure you've played Origins or Legends or whatever, and those are great games.
They're tons of fun.
They're tons of fun, especially the music levels. Those are great.
Yeah.
So that was one I completely forgot. It was exclusive to Jaguar.
Do you remember the game? It was a side space shooter where you play as, I believe the character was a Jaguar.
No.
Or some kind of... I'll have to look it up, but I remember they really tried to push him as the mascot of the console.
Oh, so like they're Mario, they're Sonic.
Yes, but it's I'm trying to... What are those games where you... It's moving and you're flying. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on all these.
Is it Gladius?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gradius.
Gradius.
Yeah. Thank you. And it was very basic.
Yeah.
But they did similar to what Donkey Kong Country did, where they have 3D rendered elements as sprites.
I do remember
the asteroids.
Yes, asteroids in 3D. I remember that now.
Yeah. Yeah. As I recall, and maybe it's out there that GamePro gave this more like a 2 out of 5.
Probably.
But we did have it. It might have been the pack-in.
Another one that we had that came with real-world accessories. Kasumi Ninja.
Kasumi Ninja.
Their Mortal Kombat ripoff came with a red Kasumi Ninja bandana.
Total blank.
Wow.
Gone. I remember now. But
horrible.
Terrible.
Horrible Mortal Kombat ripoff.
Horrible.
It was a bad game. It was a bad game. But red bandana.
Yeah.
And we were...
I mean, this is... This is 93, right?
It's between 93 and 95.
So we've had the first two Ninja Turtles films. We've had 3 ninjas.
Yeah.
We've had surf ninjas. We've had sidekicks.
Yeah.
This is
ninja. This is checking every box.
Yes.
We get... The only problem is it only came with 1. Didn't come with 2, so it should have come with like red and white or red and blue, something. So, but
well, Atari, if you ever can travel back in time and realize that
2 bananas.
Yeah,
come on, guys.
Fighting games are 2-player, guys.
And then the last mention I have for Jaguar is a Tim story from Video Game Exchange.
Yes, I worked at a used video game store.
You did, and they did a video game contest.
They did,
and you won for a Jaguar game.
Tempest 2000.
Tempest 2000.
I love that game.
So they had a whole string of arcade port 2000s.
Yes.
So like Bust a Move or Burst Out. I mean, if you get on Wikipedia or whatever and look at the title, you will find a bunch of proper noun 2000.
Yes. Much like Nintendo 64 had Mario 64.
Yes.
Donkey Kong 64.
Right. We were approaching the year 2000, 64. So it was very futuristic to put 2000 in things.
I was going to keep listing things with 64, but I'll stop. Yeah. I never played the original Tempest in arcades. No. But this was really fun. So it's all the what style of graphics do you call that? Where it's all line
like,
something.
Yeah.
But the backgrounds were very like screensavery type like things and techno music.
Right, like things like jumping back to our previous format, the Winamp music visualizer.
Yes, that's what it reminded me of. So it was a very soothing kind of game, even though you're moving your little hook guy.
And like you're the hook guy, and you can go on where 2 lines are, so you just kind of just sweep around and you're shooting.
It's you're in a half pipe essentially.
Yeah, you're basically a half pipe,
and things are coming from So it points down like this, and things are coming up at you.
The prize that we were supposed, because you won a game and I won a game, and we were supposed to get jackets.
We were supposed to
get like Letterman jackets for Video Game Exchange. Like they took our measurement, like all that stuff.
Yep.
Did not deliver and instead gave us a top tier video game.
Yeah, so they had a little color chart.
Color so you could get purple.
So you put the sticker on the game, and then you would know how much that game cost by just referencing the chart.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So you could get purple.
Which was great.
Yeah, I got that fighting game that was like that had time traveling fighters. I forget what it was called.
Oh gosh, I couldn't tell.
I'll look it up.
I don't remember what I got.
Yeah, I just remember getting that. But I really wish not only that I got the jacket, but that I kept it. Just like my Blockbuster certificate, I wish I still had that.
Yeah.
I mean, what a thing to have up on this wall.
Right.
I mean, I have found the format and could reprint it, but it's not the same.
No, it is not. I was thinking I might have obtained Super Metroid because that was an expensive game when it came out.
Ooh, maybe.
Because some Super Nintendo games were like 60, $80, 70, 80, 90. Like they were.
Yeah.
And it was one of those 70-ish or more.
There were some that... There's one today that I want. That's hundreds.
Yeah, and
I've got every flea market and yard sale, man. I just keep looking. Someone's going to have it and not know what it is.
It's statistically, yeah.
I will find it eventually for less than $250.
I almost think maybe you should just do like a cross-country road trip and just go to like every flea market and plan a whole trip. Why not? You only live once.
Yeah. Let's do this.
No, you do it. I'll stay home.
You stay home in your
sleep
nice
in my
air-conditioned
bed.
home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'll go on the road?
Yeah. But just report in every once in a while to let me know how it's going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the 3DO?
Let's talk about the 3DO. And another reason we went to the Jaguar first was not the graphics. That was our conceit. Right. It was the price.
The price. So 3DO released at $700.
Yeah.
And which is $1,400 today.
And there were 2 variants. There was the Panasonic 3DO.
Yeah.
And then there was another brand that released... So it was the same console.
Same console, but you got, I think, cheaper chips.
Something like that. Yeah. Right. And it was... The concept behind 3DO, as I recall later... reading about or watching a video was they were trying to, I guess, democratize.
Yes, and they had expansion ports. So did the Jaguar, which never released anything. Third party people did, but Atari never released anything for their expansions because they got priced out of the market by Nintendo and Sega. they lost the console wars.
So I guess we had become bored with our Jaguar and our games that we had played through and won contests.
And 3DO came down to $200.
Yeah.
So
we were too young to understand that consoles could just stop being made and games could stop being made.
Right.
I think they were still releasing Nintendo games.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Into Super Nintendo. And then, you don't think... I guess you just assume, well, they still make Nintendo games, but I'm a Super Nintendo guy now.
Right.
So we would have had no concept that this was an act of desperation, that they were not moving units.
Right.
Bring the hardware down.
No idea that this was heralding the end of 3DO. We're like, oh, this is now affordable. Let's get it.
Yeah, and look at all these games.
Look at all these games.
So there are several games. One we should talk about is Gex.
So Gex was their...
Mario.
Their side-scrolling.
Their Rayman.
It was not the Gecko from Geico.
No.
But it was a Gecko.
Yes.
And that was a fun game. We got that.
It was a lot of fun. There was
some
some comedian or someone who voiced him and had lots of zippy one-liners.
Yes.
And
not the only game that had zippy one-liners. The Horde.
The Horde with Kirk Cameron. I still think about that game.
I think about that game a lot because...
it's a tower defense game.
It's a tower defense, which was kind of new. So it was tower defense meets city building, but you also play as...
The hero.
The hero, and you run around and help your city defend. So you build spike pits, you build archer towers.
You put the fences up to keep the sheep in. So it's kind of fun. You're doing a lot of different things. So you want to reinforce your town and slowly build it out to be a castle.
And it had inside jokes for nerd culture.
Mm-hmm.
It had deep cut Dune references. Like they called you the Muad'Dweeb instead of the Muad'Dib. I remember that.
Wow, I forgot that
vividly from 1995. That they mentioned. I mean, who in our group would have gotten that joke? Like less than half of us.
Right.
Like it was very.
I was just excited to have full motion video with TV's Kirk Cameron.
TV's Kirk Cameron.
This is a big deal.
Full motion video. We need to talk about that because that was a big deal with 3DO. 3DO was probably the first console to support it.
I think. Well, in any serious.
Well, because it ported arcade classics, Dragon's Lair, and Space Ace.
Yeah, I think it was Space Ace.
Which we did not get.
No,
we got Strawl.
That was. I could not remember the name of that. So it was an anime that you would play.
When I said I went on a deep dive, I watched the entire 30 minutes of Strawl.
I never finished that game because it was punishingly difficult. I don't think I could get past the three-headed...
Not punishingly difficult. We're bad. Okay. All the reviews that I could find are this game is too easy.
Really?
So we just sucked at it. So basically...
Get good, kid.
Yeah, right? We did not get good. So most gamers today would consider... the type of gameplay that happened, QuickTime events.
Yes.
Like, that is an aspect that is not the way you play a whole game, but a way you play a scene in a game or whatever. I mean, like, a lot of, like, the Telltale games have it. A lot of, I think Last of Us may have had some QuickTime events.
Probably. I mean, I know the, oh my gosh. Uncharted games have lots of quick
some.
Yeah, hit this button quick to grab the ledge before you fall.
Yeah. So but you're basically, so you play as, I think it was Alex or Alexander, and you like in the opening scene you help an old man. That old man turns out to be the creator god, and he now sends you on a quest to get these gems. So you get to pick one of 3 worlds to start. Once you beat one, you unlock the other 4, so you have 7. Collect the 7 gems. Then you unlock the 8th, collect the 8th, you beat the game.
Nice.
And yeah, we found it very difficult.
We did. Maybe it was just input lag. Was that
Maybe
we had an old TV?
We had I mean, it's entirely possible.
It was from our great grandmother. Now we had it. These would connect via the
two prongs that you screw down.
Yes.
That then become the RF converter. That then goes to God knows what.
Right. Probably.
Probably that actually was S video. So I don't know. It probably had S-Video and RCA.
Yeah. What is that one, composite or component? I always get those. I think it's composite. And component.
Yeah, composite means all put together. Component is broken out into the red RGB.
So it would have been quite the Frankenstein hookup. Yeah. So let's that's what it was.
It's input lag, man. We should have crushed that game.
Going from composite to adapter
to two prongs screwed in
to a TV from the 60s.
Yes, that had a
maybe
UHF and VHF separate dial.
Yeah.
Like
yep. It's amazing we ever beat a game.
It's amazing we aren't dead. that combination should have just killed us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an anime. Anime was very subculture at the time. Very subculture.
It was Ninja Scroll, Akira,
Ghost in the Shell was a few years out still.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so Akira was a big one. I think Bubblegum Crisis, a handful of others, but it was not the monolith it is today with the youth.
Right, and in the 90s, subcultures were huge.
Yes.
So you find them, you latch onto them.
Right.
It becomes
your entire personality is the band you listen to, the TV show you watch. So
Yep. And then which subculture you belong to.
Right.
We were posers.
Yeah, total posers.
We've talked about that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Straw. You can watch the entire thing on YouTube. It's probably less than 30 minutes long. It's fine.
Yeah, I might like to because I don't know what came after the three-headed serpent.
Right.
I never got past it.
Yeah.
A few other games that stand out to me. I couldn't say their names.
I might have them written down.
Okay. Pretty much everything I'm gonna think of.
Yeah.
Ported over to PS1,
which
would come later.
Yeah.
But there was Return Fire, which is a great one. That was so fun. So you're playing as a military. You're playing as the military.
3/4 overhead, and
your trucks, your helicopters.
You have Jeep, you have helicopter, you have tanks, and you're just trying to break the other team's base.
Yep. Get the flag,
Yep.
Bring it back, and it would play lots of classical music, and it was just
and
so
had some good
fun.
full motion cutscenes and stuff, and
tons and tons of fun.
Was Gunny in that?
I don't remember.
Either.
I don't remember. What was it? Did it have the word moon in it? Where you're playing as?
It did not have the word moon in it, but that is Off-World Interceptor.
Yes, Off-World. Yes.
All you had to do.
was like moon and do this, and
so
you've got it.
It's kind of on the rails.
Mm-hmm.
You're a space monster truck. With laser guns, and you've got to jump, and
fun game.
That was really the last one that stood out for me on my list.
I believe Road Rash also was on 3.
Road Rash was on it, but again, that was ported to a lot of things. But we probably played it first there.
We had it there. Yeah.
Playing with the motorcycle, hitting people with a chain.
And to bring it back in saying that all the graphics looked the same, that was an artifact of the way that the games were made. So they were polygons with mapping on top.
Yes.
Or I guess bit mapping.
Yeah.
So everything was very low resolution. So the idea, if you're looking at a brick and it's really far away, it looks like a brick. You get up close, it's very fuzzy.
Yeah.
A lot of these games, your perspective is behind the action and it's going past you. So you just have the same color palette across a lot of the different games and very similar textures. And I think that's why we thought all the games kind of looked the same.
Yeah.
But it was also the segue from our typical 16-bit side-scrolling or 3/4 overhead or whatever to 3-dimensional.
Right. Yeah. We were on the cusp of great things.
Yeah.
But greatness had not happened quite yet. Greatness happened closer to the late 90s.
There's one other oddball console we
there
have.
is.
Okay.
Is it the Nomad?
The Nomad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I had it on the list, but there's not a ton to say about it.
There isn't. I think it had a strong 1 hour and 3 minutes of battery life.
I did not have a ton. So it was the
portable Sega
Genesis, not the Game Gear.
Right. Which we did have too.
We did have a Game Gear. We did have Game Boy, but the Nomad actually played the Genesis cartridge. And I think it was like 6 or 8 AA batteries.
Something like that.
It was a monstrous amount of batteries, and it burned them up fast.
Now, when you hear the word Nomad, what do you think?
Well, I mostly Lorenzo Lamas.
Okay,
no, that's Renegade. Sorry, Nomad.
Nomad was the comic character
who looks just like him. Renegade.
We'll
that's
put
what
that
is.
Up there.
Yeah. Then I go Daredevil, Ghost Rider, and
but Nomad. Just the word. Don't think about a person. Just the word. You think roaming. You're free.
Yeah.
You're out there.
Yeah.
Going from place to place. Maybe you don't have a port to call home.
Right. Maybe you've got a lady in every town.
Right.
Right.
Now, if I'm going to name my console Nomad, I'm going to expect I can take this anywhere and do anything. We were tethered
to the
AC
port.
adapter because the battery life was
did not
terrible.
Work. Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Also, I seem to recall it generating a metric ton of heat.
Heat.
Yes. It was a more effective space heater than modern space heaters.
We did not have this console for very long because it really didn't
It did not check boxes for us.
I think the thought in your head as the kid is like, okay, I'm going places. This is... Maybe
the idea as a kid, I'm going places. We are disabused of that notion.
But the idea, I can take this with me to stave off boredom. Often we have to wait in cars as our parents are doing stuff that we don't necessarily want to do, or we're dumping you at a friend's house or just someone's house while we're off doing stuff. So you're thinking, oh, I'd take this with me, whatever, but you're not getting much out of it. So it was very short-lived.
Yeah.
The one memory I have is we're sitting in our friend Aaron's living room, and we're like, I think we had other friends there. It was an even split of guys and girls. Some wanted to watch something we weren't interested in. We were taking turns playing Aladdin on the Nomad, but like sitting on the carpet because we could only be like this far from the wall.
I won video game exchange with Genesis Aladdin.
That's
nice, full circle there.
Perfect. Yeah. It's a great game, by the way.
Okay. It's better than the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, I had.
They were not ports; they were separate games.
Yes, they were, and both are fun. But yes, the Genesis one
was better.
It looked like the cartoon. Yeah, it was just a beautiful game.
Yeah.
But that's like my one memory of that. But just thinking like this is kind of dumb. It's
also, I think for the longest time we didn't own a Genesis at all.
No, that came later.
It came later. We got it like well after it had basically retired.
Yeah, we were very much Nintendo kids, but then
there was a Genesis at our mom's.
Yes,
and we played like Altered Beast and a couple things there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not. It wasn't our baby.
No. So the idea was just to have different things,
different stuff, some of the exclusives, and then the Nomad making it more portable.
Yep.
And that wraps up whatever this segment's called.
This has been this title of the segment.
It's the best one we've ever done.
I agree.
Oh, well, we're more than halfway through.
We are.
Our third episode on the new format. I'm liking it.
I'm having a good time.
I'm relaxed. I am sort of, I have some cash at home that's now burning a hole in my pocket to go to the used video game store and waste it. Invest it in some...
Look, it's only going to go up in value as the quantity diminishes.
So let's go buy some and smash some. But don't smash the ones we buy.
Right.
Buy some... smash some other ones.
Right. Give me your most expensive Jaguar and then your 3 crappiest.
Yes! Oh, man. So speaking of smashing.
Yes.
That is a great segue.
It is.
Into our new segment. Now, this is... We've kind of done in our previous iteration, we did a lot of episodes on music.
We have.
Because
they performed enormously well.
People loved it when we talked about ska, and when we talked about Tooth and Nail Records. Obviously, we did get our most... chat engagement off that one.
We did because it's very niche.
It's very niche, and when you say things like Tooth and Nail Records, people are like, "Oh, hey, let's go check it out."
Yeah,
Tooth and Nail
I
Records.
love Tooth and Nail Records.
I'm a fan of Tooth and Nail Records.
I still am. I have many Tooth and Nail Records albums.
I actually was introducing my son last night to 2 bands from Tooth and Nail Records. Further seems Forever and Strong Arm. It's almost one band.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But anyway, so this is going to be our new segment on music because we love music.
We love music,
and it's called Tales from the Jambox.
Your Jambox is now his Jambox by way of our action. Roll the thing that he made. It's awesome.
What are you listening to?
Rod Torfeson's Armada featuring Herman Menderchuk.
I rip and I rhyme. I rhyme and I rip.
Not quite my tempo.
It's alright, I've got a trick here. Yeah. From the 80s, look.
Do you know what I like best about the bass player? His neck.
Turn up my headphones. Turn them up. Turn them up. Put some treble in it.
Your Jambox is now his by way of our action.
All right. Oh, sweet. You did have this in there.
I did.
Excellent.
I had that in there. Look at that cover art.
I was going to talk about.
So Dave's.
Oh, and you had that one. That's another one I was going to talk about. Look at you.
I'm doing
You're
great.
Anticipating me.
Oh well, we had we're brothers, and we often think the same things.
Yeah. I'm not going to put up a single Tooth and Nail record.
Oh,
that's a lie.
Okay.
I'm just not going to put them up on the thing.
When we play online games together, we often have the same idea of the same place. We probably have more stands of the same place to go. And then, there's one right over there if you want it. So it's just kind of funny. Like, we think very similarly.
Put the Better Overcome record out.
Sure. I just grabbed what I had. Because you were like, hey, grab any hardcore.
hardcore.
The theme is hardcore.
Yeah.
Now, you did a lot of the prep for this. I did not.
Yeah, I have notes, just kind of with dates and stuff.
Yeah.
But, so hardcore, it's sort of I guess I'm going to butcher this because I did not look this up. Kind of a punk offshoot.
Yeah. One of the subgenres.
Subgenre of punk that kind of got over the years blended with metal and other heavier sounds. There's an honorable mention from 1989 that you and I did not get into, but we should at least mention it as kind of the granddaddy of the style, Earth Crisis.
Earth Crisis.
So a lot of our friends who were much more into the genre than we were Earth Crisis fans. I listened and was like, it's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's low production quality, at least what I heard, which I think was part of the appeal.
Yep. It's not mainstream.
Yeah, it was very not mainstream, very not produced. And, yeah, that was 1989. And I'm sure there's some stuff that predates them, but that was sort of the big one that influenced a lot of the bands that we listened to and a lot of the friends who got us into those bands. Now, hilariously, in my second high school, because no one listened to hardcore, people there called me Hardcore Dave, which is hilarious. That's the only group that ever did. It's like the only good nickname I ever got.
Well, this is when we moved. So you were going to Laurel High.
Yes.
And then you went to a more
posh
area.
Yeah. So we moved just across the river, and the
same town. We were still in Laurel, just a different county.
City limits, just changed counties. It's really weird.
Yeah. It's actually Laurel's made up of four counties.
Yep. Yeah. Super weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so went from a place with actual violence, actual fear of death, to a place where in 2 years I saw one fight.
Just one, huh?
Just one in 2 years. So very different experience.
Wow.
A lot more trash talking.
Like 2 fights a day.
Yeah, 2 fights a day. And like I saw a girl get stabbed in the eye with a pencil. Like that's in here forever.
The girl fights were always more vicious.
Dude, I mean, my first day in middle school, or first week, I saw a girl tackle another girl and just repeatedly slam her head into pavement.
Wow.
And middle school, 8th grade, 13.
Over what?
Heck, was I going to ask?
Well, why didn't you?
Because both the girls were bigger than me.
That sounds pretty hardcore.
Yes. Anyway, so I would say the what you're holding and the one next to it.
Yes, Snapcase.
Snapcase and Sick of It All.
Let me bring these up.
Probably our introduction to. It's hard to say because of Tooth and Nail.
Well, let's just call it the secular hardcore.
Yeah.
So there was we listened to a lot of Christian hardcore, and we should also mention before going any further, this is music that parents hate.
Oh, they absolutely hated it.
So it's very
Tooth
heavy.
and Nail versions were great. Because but look at the lyrics.
Yeah, it's right from the Bible.
It's all Bible stuff, so it's all great. So it's focused, overcome, strong arm. These guys all had very, very good
and 6 Feet Deep.
And 6 Feet Deep, who later became Branson. Just like Strong Arm became Further Seems Forever.
But it's heavier and slower than punk. It's screaming vocals instead of singing.
Right.
So
which influenced a lot of the directions we went with our bands.
But the appeal of it is that it's obviously very niche. It's underground.
Yep.
It's not mainstream in any way. If you find someone else that listens to hardcore, you have an instant bond and connection.
Yes, you do.
And
also, the mosh pits were a big deal.
Yeah, so you're circling around, throwing punches,
and it's not done in hate or malice. It's just letting off steam.
People get bloody noses and are smiling about it like Fight Club or something.
It's very Fight Club-ish. Yeah.
And the secular hardcore scene was appealing too because straight edge was a very big thing.
I wanted to bring that up. So we have here One King Down. Now, One King Down, they're excellent. They're secular. They're straight edge. And on top of that, their singer's vegan. So the first introduction for straight edge and vegan was One King Down.
Wow, okay.
Hilarious in my mind, the lyrics for one of the songs. It might actually be in this record.
Oh, is this about where you think they're talking about animals?
Yeah. I don't know if it's on this one or not, but it's caged and oppressed, their cries remain suppressed.
Yeah.
Caged and oppressed, their cries remain suppressed!
About meat animals.
Delicious meat animals. I'm gonna have some delicious animal meat today.
Oh, I'm gonna enjoy that their cries were suppressed.
Actually, I have some. I'll have to show you the brand.
Okay.
Delicious pork carnitas, thawing. So they come frozen. You just let them thaw, fry them up in the pan for 5 minutes.
I'm already salivating,
and they're already seasoned and they're delicious.
So to go back to the original comment, straight edge. So straight edge was no drugs,
no alcohol,
and in some extreme versions, no fornication.
Yes.
So it was very morally virtuous, but for the sake of fitting in with the clique, not because of any other reason. And very few people stuck to it.
Yeah, and ironically, all the smoking you can handle.
All the smoking, apparently.
So you're getting all the drugs out that are bad for you, all the alcohol that's bad for you, but just you are smoking yourself thin.
Get confident, stupid.
Actually, we did get quite thin back then.
We did get thin at the time. Let's not talk about our bad decisions.
No.
Oh, hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me from such self-help videos as Smoke Yourself Thin and Get Confident, Stupid.
Yeah, so, I mean, I love the Voice That's Fires here as well. That was another great one from that era. So I went on a little bit of a journey on my commute. I just kind of went through literally everything that's out here with a couple of others.
I couldn't find NIV. Christian hardcore band, No Innocent Victim.
I was at my buddy Jason's yesterday, and he was getting something out of the fridge when I walked into his house. So his back was to me, and on his shirt it said, "I would die tonight for my beliefs." I was like, NIV shirt. And he turned around, No Innocent Victim. Like, yep,
slick.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, well,
everyone remembered "I would die tonight for my beliefs."
I believe our shared journey into hardcore was on the Christian side.
Right, so we got introduced to like Overcome, Focused,
Strong Arm,
6 Feet Deep.
And the Christian hardcore scene was still hardcore, like not to
there was
not
still,
to define the word with the word,
right?
But there was
still violence, but respectful.
And
like if someone got knocked down, like the band would be like, "Pick him up!" Like,
yep.
We'll
and they would say, I remember, I forget which band it was. It was like, if a brother falls, pick him up.
Yep.
Don't stomp on people. Don't hit people. You know,
right.
Things like
Mosh,
that.
but don't actually go out there to hurt people.
Yeah. So it was just was a safer, more controlled version of anarchy.
Right. And over the course of 93 to 97, we got the bands we mentioned, also Unashamed, Focal Point, and Zayo.
Yes. I have a Focal Point record.
Nice.
I should have brought that out.
That cover art is hardcore.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, at least I think I have it.
Zayo holds a special place in our hearts because I think of every band whose last show we ever saw. We saw Zayo's last show 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, constantly.
Those guys threatened to break up.
Actually,
so many times.
I didn't bring the Zayo discs out because I was wondering if they were more on the metal side.
They're metalcore.
Yeah, so again, I wanted to stick to just hardcore, not
hardcore.
Not metalcore.
Well, even Boy Sets Fire is classified as post-hardcore, which is weird because they came out in 93. Yeah, I don't know.
Go figure. But if hardcore started in 89, and maybe it was just a flash in the pan.
So, actually, Boy Sets Fire may have been later 90s. I have them as, at least when we got into them was 99, 2000. That's when they toured with Snapcase.
This is one of their latter records.
That is. So
that is a post-hardcore.
Today. That's a good one. But the one before that, so they did their split EP with Snapcase, which is, I think, what we first heard them on. And then they did the album before Tomorrow Come Today, and I can't think of the name of it. That's the one I remember pretty vividly. And other than the name, haha. And then, were you at the Chop Chop show with Zayo and Boy Sets Fire when
the
Chop Chop
floor
got
was
shut down? Yeah.
Bowing, yes.
So that's the anecdote I want to get to.
That was we knew the guy who booked that show.
We knew the guy who booked it, and I knew the guy who narked.
Oh,
I met him later.
Oh,
the guy who booked it, it was that.
I think his name was Chris.
I think his name's Chris. Yeah, sure. Like he was dark hair.
Yes.
Like, a little shorter, a little older. Mm-hmm. He booked a lot of the hardcore shows.
I think we met him through Brian.
We met him through Brian.
Yeah.
The Chop Shop was a venue somewhere in Baltimore. I actually meant to look up where it was because I'm walking near where friends of mine live in Federal Hill. And I'll round the corner where there's this 7-Eleven. I'm like, that looks like the 7-Eleven.
So if this is Fed Hill, it was up. It was north of it. I want to say like 10 to 15 blocks.
Okay,
so but it was on that.
So like Fed Hill, Locust Point,
that west, northwest side of Baltimore.
Fed Hill's south.
I know. I'm saying you're.
Yeah, we have a dog.
We do have a dog. Hi,
dog.
There's a dog on set. This has never happened before.
We've heard them above us. Oh boy, it's getting close to one of the laptops. Oh boy.
What could possibly go wrong?
So much can happen now when we've introduced an animal into this. Hi, Moo Moo. Hi.
Don't touch her, or
I will smell like her.
Break out in hives if you touch her face.
I don't even want to make eye contact with her. Oh, Moo Moo. Woo!
Yep.
Oh, she's stinky.
She's here. Okay.
Wow.
Let's try it this way.
Okay.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Up. Well, I got to reverse it for you. Stadiums, it's like up here.
Okay, yeah, that's about where I was.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a 7-Eleven right there.
And this was like a run-down building.
So it was like legitimately, I think it was an auto mechanic place, and then the top floor was where the venue was. Mm-hmm. And it was called the Chop Shop.
Right.
And it was not up to code.
No!
And we were never within the fire marshal occupancy limit. I mean, well above.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe 20 people could have held. There were 100.
So we were super excited to see Zayo with Boy Sets Fire.
Yes.
Zayo got to play their set. Boy Sets Fire was the headliner. And during Zayo's set, the cops showed up. And everyone had to be escorted out. Mm-hmm. People were carrying amplifiers out with them, making sure, because the band had a tour.
Right.
Like, all this stuff's going to get stuck in the building if people don't bring it out. So everyone's just grabbing what they can, bringing it out. The bands are gathering their stuff so everyone can go home.
Yep.
Go on to their tour.
And I'm not exaggerating when I say the floor was bowing.
Yeah, it was not safe.
Not a little bit.
So, years... I don't know if I shouldn't emphasize that hard. Years later, not many, 1 or 2 years later.
Okay.
I had my first girlfriend, and there was this boy from Maryland. She was in Virginia. I was driving to Virginia to have a girlfriend. That's how well life was going for me.
Swimmingly.
And there was this boy that she knew, whose name also happened to be Dave, who lived in Bel Air, Maryland, who...
dox him just a little bit more.
I can't remember his last name, or I would.
Weight, eyes, hair color.
So there are 2 things I remember about him.
Okay.
2.5, because one's connected. He shaved his legs, and he was only ever going to let his wife see his smooth legs, but he showed them to my girlfriend. Smooth!
I'm trying to imagine this scenario like, hey baby, do you like seals?
You like, yeah. Like,
check these things, check these babies out.
So that was the 1.5 things I remember about him.
Shaved his legs.
And then he was hanging out down there and did not have a ride home, so my girlfriend asked me to drive him home, which from Laurel to Bel Air...
Yeah, that's like an hour.
Adding the exact same drive I had just done to get to Northern Virginia to see my girlfriend. So,
Yes. Bel Air's north of Baltimore.
Yeah.
You're either paying tolls or going the long way around the Beltway.
I was poor, so what do you think I did?
Yeah, you went around the top side of the Beltway.
Around the top side of the Beltway. So, as I'm driving this boy home, and I already know about his,
shaved
legs and his designs on the girl I was dating. And he's welcome to her now, but at the time I was pretty opposed to the idea of him making moves on the girl I was dating.
I wonder why.
Yeah, right. So we're driving past Baltimore, and I start, talking about shows and yada yada. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I went to a show there once. I saw Zayo there once." And like I stopped, and it was a really sketchy neighborhood, and I saw these cops, so I asked them to escort me to the venue because I didn't feel safe. And it was the Zayo show.
Oh, I mean, okay. That's first off, man card revoked.
Well,
shaved legs.
Shaved legs was already
was borderline because I was thinking bodybuilders go shorn and put an oil up to emphasize musculature.
I was in better shape than him at the time.
Okay, so I now 100% revoked.
Yeah.
Sweet summer child.
Yeah. First time in the city.
Yep. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, because I was trying to remember. I was like, I don't remember seeing Boy Sets Fire.
We didn't.
And we didn't.
We've never seen them live.
We had our tickets.
So Boy Sets Fire, if you're still playing.
Yeah.
Or even if you're broken up.
Get back together. You owe it to us.
A show.
We were there, guys.
Yeah. The social contract was breached by you.
I don't know if this is a fact. I'm just going to go ahead and say it out there. He carried one of your amps out for you, so you could keep it. So,
I mean, I was there while amps were carried, so yeah sure.
I think that memory's a little fuzzy.
It's a little fuzzy.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
You were like a hero.
Yeah, like a hero.
Like saving a baby from a burning building.
So we both share Boy Sets Fire as one we never saw.
Yeah. I was too afraid to go to see
Sick of It All or
Snapcase.
Yes, the crowds were a little.
They were pretty violent.
You did not see Poison the Well.
No, I did not.
You were supposed to.
Yes.
I saw them.
Yes,
I undeservedly opened for them. My crappy band was short a member that day. But we opened undeservedly for Poison the Well and 12 Tribes. Poison the Well was initially supposed to put out a split EP with 12 Tribes. They'd done a tour together, but it got delayed, and then their split EP wound up going on with someone else. And that's before the release of their first record, opposite of December, I think. I loved Poison the Well.
Yeah.
They were the first hardcore band I ever saw with two screamers. So they were just, play off of one another.
I never owned the album. I had a cassette off of someone else's. So I never even knew what it was called.
Yeah, there was that one. And then they had the EP, Absence Makes the Heart Grow Fonder, and that's sort of the introduction. But Poison the Well was one of the best. Probably not as popular as they deserve to be.
Yeah. They were really good. Yeah, really good.
Got to not only see them, but play with them. There's a few Zayo got to see a bunch, play with them a couple times. But I got to see Focused and you didn't. You got to see Strong Arm and I didn't.
Yeah, but of everything on here, I mean, these are my two favorite. Oh, I showed them before already.
Yeah.
Sick of It All in Snapcase. This album.
Is that Scratch the Surface?
Scratch the Surface.
Yeah.
Scratch the surface. Serve a purpose. Scratch the surface. Don't waste my time.
The titular track, fantastic.
Yeah.
But then
It's also really, it's older than I thought.
And then
that's 93.
Yes, it is. And then the song, it's. I know it's In the Underground. I wonder. If that's
I don't
what
think it's
called.
on that one. That one might be on Built to Last. Or,
Oh yeah, that is. You're right. That's another. That was like the anthem of the hardcore movement.
Integrity lies within. Also, Sick of It All, notably easiest to understand screamer of all the screamers.
Yes, not very gravelly.
Not very gravelly.
They don't put any distortion. Whereas the Snapcase singer, I mean, it sounds kind of like someone who's doing a lot of murdering.
Yes.
But oh my gosh, this
Progressive
album
Through Unlearning is a dope record.
It's just it puts the pedal down and it never lets up.
It very clearly inspired a lot of other bands in the same genre.
Absolutely. Great driving song, especially back then we were very nocturnal.
Yes.
You got to stay up and not fall asleep. This is a great album to put on for that.
So I think the only other one that we don't have up here that we listened to, that friends listened to, that also was secular was Vision of Disorder.
Oh yeah, VOD. That's right.
Sorry, I slurred that. Vision of Disorder.
Vision
of Disorder. Yeah.
Wasn't there one called Speedball?
Speedball existed. I don't remember if they were punk or hardcore.
I remember them being, because you can't compare anything that's not because they're the closest to it.
Okay.
And then there was H2O.
I vaguely remember them. They were a little more mainstream, if I remember right.
I mean, they were. I guess so.
People in high school knew them.
Yeah.
So.
What was the one? Speaking of when you went to the high school, because you met another guy who liked hardcore.
Chris Wood.
Yeah. Chris. Mr. Black.
Mr. Black.
Because he introduced us to the song.
F and F Society 2.
And it was because they
F the world. And he had a dance that he did.
Yeah. But I don't know if this is true. You told me this, that the inspiration for them writing that song was that they never had Power Wheels as kids.
I had heard that. Yes.
I don't know if
that was true or not, but yeah.
But yes, F Society.
And F the
where's
world.
Where's my
Power Wheel? And that's why my son has a go-kart. He's going to be well adjusted.
That's right. He's not going to form a hardcore band.
He's a happy kid.
That's good.
It's amazing what a little motor vehicle will do for you.
Yeah, it's things boys like.
Boys like that.
Yeah, we like machines.
I have an anecdote for that as well. Oh, let's go for it. Why not?
Yeah, we're here.
So, this will make mothers mortified.
Mom, turn off the camera.
Yeah.
Or the TV.
Yeah, Mom, everything's fine. No one was hurt. So as I was leaving Jason, I brought Andrew with me. My wife and daughter were elsewhere, so my 10-year-old boy's with me, and he's playing with his friends, and then the grown-ups are hanging out, and then gets to be time to go home, and I'm the first grown-up out the door. And as I'm walking out the door, my friends have a trampoline, the kids play on the trampoline.
Yeah.
As I'm walking out the door, the trampoline is like this close to the house. And the awning has a ladder on it. And the kids have been climbing up onto the awning and jumping off onto the trampoline. And, saw me come out and had a brief moment of panic. I was like, Andrew, get your stuff. All I could think is, oh, good, they were smart enough to put a trampoline down. When I did this, we just jumped.
Do you remember what happened to our friend when he jumped off the trampoline and landed on the fence post?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right
in the mommy-daddy button.
Right in the taint.
Yeah.
I still think about that. He got hurt so often and in such horrible ways.
Yeah. Still to this day, he has odd medical things happen to him.
Dude.
To this day.
Dude. That's the first thing I thought of with jumping off a trampoline, because how did that... It was a 1 in a million chance, and he was the lucky guy.
Right. So anyway, to close the anecdote, I think they were all expecting me to yell or to tattle, and I'm just like... And just driving home, just talking to my boy, I'm just like, yeah, no, dads are sort of fine with this stuff. If a mom had seen it, and he's like, oh, I just won't tell mommy. I'm like, then we get home, and he's telling Miranda something, and I hear my wife go, what was that? It's like, we jumped off the roof. Oh, my boy. He's, can't hide. Didn't get in trouble that I heard. I was going to bed. I don't know.
We'll get there eventually, but I was just thinking of that episode of The Simpsons where Bart's ripping up the carpet, and Homer's just sitting on the couch, gut hanging out, drinking the beer, and Bart comes, he's like, why is he doing that? Homer's like, dads just don't care.
There's a threshold.
Right.
There's a threshold, and it didn't hit the threshold. Not for me.
That was very apt to the hardcore discussion.
Yes, indeed. So I guess that'll close up our first tale from the Jambox.
Yeah, let's turn off the Jambox.
No one invites the bass player to the party after the show.
Hey, what are you guys doing after the show? Oh, nothing, okay.
Well, we've done it, Dave. Once again, we have made it to the end segment.
We have, and as always, we end on
our very non-blasphemous.
Blasphemy. They really should have added that to the stinger. Maybe Stinger 2.0.
Or maybe, how about
the outro? The outro.
Okay. Maybe this outro after this segment.
Right.
It'll be there.
So, we've said this every episode for this season. We'll say it again. We are Christian men. We grew up Christian. It is a huge part of who we are. So we want to end every episode with our segment on our faith called Holy Crap.
Holy Crap!
I had 80s and 90s Christian parents.
And they were going to show people that weren't even saved Terminator 2!
Who could it have been?
Satan!
Well, today, Dave, we are talking about working at church.
This is a unique experience to us. Hopefully not many Christians actually work for their income at their church.
Yeah.
Because I can say wholeheartedly, it is probably not the best experience.
It really isn't. You often don't want to peek behind the curtain.
It's seeing how the sausage is made.
Right. Now, granted, our experience would be a different... This is for a megachurch.
We worked at a megachurch.
Many people were employed there.
Yes.
I would say the church probably had like 30 to 40 employees, and then there was the summer camp.
And at least half of those were full-time.
Right. And then the summer camp had at least that many, if not more.
Yeah. So in summer, we had double the employees.
Right. So I was hired to be their IT person. And you
so was I.
were too, but...
But that was my first exposure to Christian employment, a bait and switch.
Yes.
So I took the job to be the co-IT person with you.
Yes.
Because I wanted a marketable skill at age 18, 19, something.
Yeah.
We were pretty young. It was at least 18. And instead of being put on board with you to learn IT and to go into that field, I got put in the cassette tape duplication team.
Yeah, now, for context, the two of us were hired to replace one individual who did both things. He did both the IT and the tape duplication, but also at this point, he was moving on to another company, and the megachurch had built its new, much larger building and had a lot more people coming in, so they were like, well... We can't just... so the staff would have been half or less when he was there as the guy. We can't have one guy doing tape duplication and IT. So we need one for one and one for the other.
Right, and they made the decision after offering the job.
Right.
So
that was fun for you.
It was fun for me because it's like, oh, hey, do you want to still have a job? And I had already quit the food service job I had. So
You did want a job.
I did want a job.
And you still got to do some IT stuff.
Very, very... Rarely, usually because of mistaken identity.
Right. That's the one of the things I wanted to talk about. Yes. There was a woman who worked there.
There was a woman there named Jeannie.
She was an older woman. Yeah. Her job was actually like ministering to senior centers and nursing homes and things like that. So she was
not that old yet, but she was pushing that age.
But the church was not quite pentagonal shaped, but it was very much like this. And the majority...
It was almost like a baseball diamond.
Yeah. She was on a wing with nobody else.
No one.
In a very dark hallway.
Yes.
And she had a bit of a reputation for being a little off.
And
very nice person.
And chatty, of course.
Yes. But
talk your ear off.
But... she did not know that you and I were brothers. She didn't
know that you and I were two completely different people.
Yes.
Because she had never seen us together.
Yeah, so I would, being the main IT person, was more frequently seen, but I think you worked a little later than me.
I worked a little later, and my office was closer.
And so
you would... Office, it was a shared space.
Right, so you would pick up IT stuff after I'd already left and do whatever. And, so she had no idea that when she was a frequent customer.
Right.
Being older, working on a computer, not knowing
and 90s,
things.
It's going to be close to 100% of the times that she asked for help. She just needed it plugged in, turned on. Like, not actual IT.
Dude. We'll finish the story because then I have another
Right.
one.
So she would see me in the hall and be like, "Oh, Tim, can you help me with my computer?" And the easiest thing for me to say, well, "Sure."
Yeah. Did you ever engage? Actually, my name's Dave. I'm a completely different person.
No. The easiest way out of the situation, because I knew if I had said, "Oh, I'm Dave and I work here doing this," 30 more minutes of my life will be gone.
Yeah.
Or I can just say, "Sure," get the thing knocked out in 5, go back to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I would say sure and help her. And that happened more than once.
Yeah.
And it was always plug it in, turn it on, whatever. Like, not actual IT.
No. I do remember getting a call one time for someone who's saying, like, I'm turning on the computer and nothing's happening. They were pushing the monitor power button. Yeah. Because this is the thing about employees for churches. They just need a willing participant.
So, yeah, it's warm bodies.
Yes.
It's a lot like... I have some thoughts. Let's finish the genie story. So, the lunches.
Yes.
We would have...
Wednesday staff lunch.
Wednesday staff lunch. Just
great.
Catered. So, yeah. For
catered
young men who...
By the wife of one of the pastors, and she was an amazing cook.
So, getting food prepared by someone else for free.
Yeah.
Once a week, guaranteed. Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And then one week, Jeannie attended, and we were sitting together. And she saw the two of us together for the first time, and just the...
Yeah.
Tim?
There's two of you!
Yeah, just the double take was beautiful.
It was hilarious. It was a wonderful moment.
So the whole warm bodies thing with church employment, also it transitions to church volunteering. No one seems to be concerned with competence, excellence, etc.
Right.
On that end of the scale. And then on the other hand, they think, oh, this is ministry, so we should pay you as little as you'll accept.
Right.
Both of those concepts are broken. Just putting it out there. If you are representing God in what you're doing, you should be excellent at what you do.
And
if
I've
you
been told that on the phone as a boy, as I've talked about before.
Yes, you should be. And if you are employing people and representing God and his principles, you should pay a worker what he's worth.
Yes.
That's biblical.
Yeah.
It's in Scripture. So stop treating employees like they're doing a volunteer ministry. They're employees.
Now, I agree. One of the stories I wanted to share, your tenure was not as long. I worked there for 4 years.
I worked there for between 6 months and a year, and I have a story for that, but yeah.
Was it eyebrow ring related?
It was eyebrow ring related.
Okay. I didn't know if it was eyebrow ring adjacent.
No, it was immediately eyebrow ring.
Okay. So we'll get there, but after you had gone, because I'm the IT person, naturally I understand how a soundboard works. Now, the church would have different events throughout the day, whether they be Bible studies or whatever. Now, at this point, the church had hired a pastor who was just part of a revival down south. And
I have a caveat with that as well, but yeah.
So they think, bring this guy here, the revival will follow.
Sure.
And they actually schedule and plan a revival event.
Yep.
So rather than letting God move and do the revival, they create the framework for God to move.
Right, because God wants your blueprint to do what he's going to do.
So I was trained on the soundboard because,
naturally,
we have no one, because all the real sound guys have real jobs and they just do it on
volunteer
Sundays.
On Sunday. Yeah.
So I went on a Sunday. They showed me how to work it. I did fine. It's pretty basic. Gain if it starts to boop, turn the gain down, whatever. So I'm up in the soundboard revival event. This is going on for a week, maybe 2, but we, the staff, are warned. There's a guy who thinks he's Jesus. And he
forgot about him.
Yeah.
Wow. I forgot about him.
I can never forget because I got to talk to Jesus.
Yeah.
But this guy, so the main auditorium had the balcony level, and then so I would say the majority of people are down on the floor level. It's a very large auditorium.
Were you in the main or the old?
This is the new.
Okay.
The new one. So I'm up in the balcony at the soundboard, and Mr. Jesus is just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah, and for context for you folks, this is a church sanctuary that could hold 2,500.
Yeah, it was large.
I think it was like 800 up and 1,700 down.
Something like that.
It was about 2 to 1.
It was very, very big.
Yeah, it was huge.
Purpley, very purple carpets.
Because purple was a royal
the royal color.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the combination of red and blue. Now, so he's just hanging out there, but I just remember being exceedingly bored because I have to run this sound. I can't leave. So, but he's just up here, so I'm just chatting with him about stuff.
Yeah.
Just chatting with Jesus. I don't have any specific anecdotes about what we talked about, but just that I got to talk to, and I just remember telling my friends, so what'd you do? I was just talking with Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right on.
I mean, I still do that.
Oh, absolutely, but it was just...
yeah.
No, he was there.
It's usually not incarnate.
He was up on the balcony.
So, my anecdote about the same revival pastor is I was hired under false pretenses.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was given the tape duplication and all that came along with that.
That would be, by the way, for the audience, the sermons are recorded.
Recorded onto a master cassette.
Mm-hmm.
The master cassette is then duplicated into child cassettes. Those child cassettes are then packaged and mailed out to...
But you had a very large, big board that would do, 8 at a time?
I think it was equipped to do 24, but something was broken, so it never did more than 16.
Okay. I knew it was a large amount.
It was a large amount. So it was like 4 bay. Each unit was 4 bay, and one or two of the bays was broken. Or 1 or 2 of the units. So I started there doing that, had the experience, and then when Southern Revival Minister and his 20 million sons moved up, his eldest son with no experience was made my boss.
Yep, I remember that. Yep. Remember the dancing alien from the 90s?
Yeah.
He was the guy that showed it to us.
Yeah, I remember that. Because it was the I Will Survive version of that.
Yeah. That's literally all I remember about him.
It's not. I mean, tall and generically handsome.
Yeah, he seemed nice enough. I recall.
I mean, I don't blame him for being given that job.
No, it was just nepotism.
Yeah,
which is another huge problem.
Huge problem in the church.
Yes.
Is like, oh, you're the son of someone, therefore you're someone, or maybe you're not.
Right. Yeah, there's a dynasty building thing that seems to
plague. It's a little broken.
Plague a lot, but yeah, we're not experts on any of this crap.
No,
we just live through it.
We just have thoughts and crippling damage.
Right.
The one benefit of that job, however, is that there were graphic design covers for the sermon series, and there was Photoshop 4.0. A full license.
Nice.
And
that would have been a
that is where I learned
$1,200
that would have been
item.
A huge purchase, and that is where I learned Photoshop, which is one of the tools I've used to pay for my life in the dickety 8 years since I learned it.
Wow.
So one takeaway from getting shafted and not learning IT was I learned multimedia, graphic design, and that has been in my toolkit for my career ever since.
And I've been doing IT ever since.
Right. So we still, and we are connected to our closest friends and whatever, either directly from that church or one step removed.
Yep, that is very true.
Yeah. So while it was not overall a great experience, everything that came out of it, because we're not the most poorly adjusted people, wound up being pretty good.
Yeah, and getting, I mean, it's semi-related, but our childhood church had broken up.
Yeah.
We went to another church. A lot of our friends went to this church.
Yeah, 90% of the people from our childhood church went to the one that we wound up working for.
Yeah.
And we had a couple-year gap before we joined them there.
Yeah, we joined them, and then... Yep. And our dad was kind of involved in IT because he's a software engineer.
Yeah.
So he had relative, basic IT experience and would help the older folks learn how to use computers.
Right. Yeah.
So he was like, hey, my sons know this stuff. I taught them.
Right.
And he did. Yeah. We learned by building our own computers.
Doing a little bit of coding in BASIC and C++ and stuff like that.
Yeah, very basic stuff, but the Phases of the Moon program, I remember we did that for homeschool.
Yep, Hello World, all that stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, we had some basics, but that's how we got in. But let's talk about how you got out, because it was related.
How I got out was very, very commonplace. It would not fly today.
No,
because it's just too ubiquitous today. But for my I must have started when I was 17. For my 18th birthday, I got my eyebrow pierced, and was told that I had the option to quit or take the piercing out. It was an eyebrow ring. Pretty innocuous, not.
Now, with this eyebrow ring, you're in front of the entire congregation, I assume. They bring you out onto the stage before every sermon.
Naturally, you would assume that. Right. No, I'm in an office with not even with windows.
So, how many people would you say see you
on a given day, besides the person in the office with me? One?
Yeah, I get the logic behind that.
Yeah.
So the shameful ring on your face.
Yeah. So there was a man there, and again, we're trying to not say the name of the church, but there's a man there who was one of the pastoral staff who I remained close to until he passed away, who I went to for advice until he passed away. But I went to him for advice about this issue with the employment. He kind of found it silly and was just like, just do what you want to do, man. He was just like, this is kind of ridiculous, but it's, it's like, is this the hill you want to die on? If so, you're gonna quit because they're not gonna keep you, and yeah, so you really have the two options I gave you, and who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, so I quit, and then within a couple weeks of quitting, we were helping a friend whose car broke down near the Burger King in Burtonsville.
Yes.
And you threw a stick at me. And the stick hit my eyebrow ring and tore it, and it got infected, and I had to take the piercing out. Within a couple weeks of standing my ground, I had to remove my eyebrow ring.
Was this just us being stupid and throwing things at each other? Okay, this wasn't malicious. All right,
No, nothing malicious. We were just bored trying, like, we were mechanics. We didn't know how to fix a broken down. I think it was Dave's parents' van.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
and
this is we got nothing to do. Let's just throw sticks.
This is when I think this may have been the time when we walked to the Burger King, and the other Daves got into the infamous argument that went on for years of what cost Burger King more money, the ice or the cup. Because they each took a camp, and they stayed in those camps. Like, this was dickety 8 years ago, dickety 7 years ago, and this still comes up.
Why am I picturing this being a James May and Richard Hammond argument?
With the height difference, it's about the same.
Yeah, it really is. And the hair length.
And the hair length.
Well, at the time. Yes. Sorry, Dave.
Genetics suck.
Yeah, but just to put a button on this, most of the things I recall from working there were very negative because you do see behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You see a lot of weird stuff. You see a lot of shady stuff.
Yeah.
And you wonder, do people really believe what they're preaching, or are they just kind of going? I mean, this happens in school. Any institution can house.
Yes. You're going to have the mixed bag of humanity.
Right.
You're going to have people faking it. You're going to have people that are supremely dedicated. You're going to have people who stumble. You're going to have people who willfully do horrible things.
But I will say, I met some wonderful people there working there. The daughter of the main pastor,
she was great.
She was
great. Yeah.
Just a wonderful human being,
person. And always brightened every room she went into. Like,
absolutely,
she was just a gem.
And then and you could come to her with problems. Yes. She was willing to listen to you, and so she was great. I loved the janitor. He was my friend.
Oh, the janitor was great.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah,
he was so great.
Yeah, he was fantastic. I always love talking to him. Some of the camp people.
Yeah,
were
the
great.
camp people.
I still talk to a couple of them to this day.
Nice.
Not super close, but we run into each other.
Yeah, and then on the subject of the camp, they would also bring people from different countries. So over the summertime, I got to just meet new people. I got to meet these great guys from Africa.
Yeah, I met folks from New Zealand. I met folks from Africa, the UK.
But I remember we're wealthy Americans.
Yeah.
I'm taking, so it's actually I think they're all from South Africa.
I thought there were some from Tanzania, but maybe
these were different guys.
Those aren't right. This camp guys, not the
yeah. So they're younger guys, but so I'm just driving them, and I know that they're not as well off as we are.
Right.
But there was a Starbucks down the road. I was like, hey, let me drive you guys down. Yeah. Let's go get some coffees. And I was very touched because they insisted on paying for me. I was like, it's okay. How about I pay for you?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, but I'm thinking we're a wealthier country.
Right.
You guys, I know, are struggling more and whatever. But they're like, hey, man, you blessed us by taking us here. We want to bless you.
Yeah.
And it was just, you just meet some. That was not getting choked up. That's a dry throat. That was me. Just genuine acts of like,
yeah.
What do you want? Just people being beautiful people.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I had a lot of good memories too.
Oh, likewise, but yeah.
But overall, I would not recommend working.
I don't recommend, especially if you're young in your faith or easily embittered.
Yeah, or if you're doing it for your income, if you want to volunteer.
Yeah.
I know that there were a lot of ladies who would come in and help make the pamphlets, whatever. What do they call them? The bulletins. Thank you. And just run the copy machines.
Yeah.
And just do it as that kind of stuff is great.
Yeah. And build good relationships with your fellow believers, and yeah.
But we did get to pick up some skills that have benefited us.
Yeah.
I mean,
on the job training was great.
We're using those skills to make this podcast.
Yes, today.
Yeah, so go figure. Yeah. But yeah,
cool. Well, I guess that wraps up this installment of Holy Crap.
Holy crap!
Possibly a new ending.
Yes.
That's for blasphemy.
Well, we've done it.
We have once again. Oh, we've gone on way longer than normal.
Yeah, our last couple have been like an hour 15. What are we at right now?
That reads an hour and 50.
Whoa.
So we might be doing some trimming. We'll see.
Yeah. Find every time that I say so.
Nope. Too much work.
Or anyway.
Oh, just make that the supercut and make that the whole episode?
No. Cut all those out.
No. Make that the only episode. That's what I heard.
Actually, I do want to do that at one. I thought about that at some point. But anyway, we'll just wrap because we've been going on way too long.
Way too long. Nothing else interesting to say. If we've even said anything interesting at all today.
Who knows? That's for you to judge.
Yeah.
Judge us harshly. We stand up well to scrutiny. Catch you later.